Hi, my dandelions. How's everybody doing today? Well, uh, it's been a hot day here, and we have painted our fence front and back, inside and outside. And I just wanted to check in with everybody before the weekend and finish our chat about rebuilding your marriage. And I really want this series to focus more on the rebuilding than the wounding. We know the wound hurts, and you're going to go through a lot of emotions. But once you finish spewing everything you can think of at the offending partner, you're left with a decision: stay and rebuild this, or walk away. And for the offending partner, it's going to take a lot of work for you. If you aren't willing to cut that third relationship, that third person off immediately, like get a new phone number, new email, make yourself inaccessible, then this is never going to work. And again, we're not saying that our way is the only way or the best way or anything. We're just saying what worked for us. And so you have to be truly willing to let that go. And for the person who was betrayed, you have to decide when to stop punishing and start rebuilding. The past cannot be changed, no matter how much your partner wants to go back in time and change. He or she cannot. And so at some point, you're going to have to stop hurting in response to your hurt. For a long time on this channel, we've been talking about we cannot control the actions of others. We can only control our reaction. And that's going to come into play here. So you become transparent and vulnerable to each other on a soul level, not just social media and your phones and all that. I'm talking about on a soul level. Open your soul to each other. And that's why that book from Dr. Phil is so important. Relationship Rescue. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's a workbook, and you go through those exercises together. And I know a lot of men would go, "This is stupid. I said I was sorry." That's not enough. That is not enough. And you are not worthy of a marriage of any value. So just get that out of your head right now. Open the book, go through the exercises, be present. Once that rebuilding starts and you start spending that it's quality time. When you start spending that quality time with each other, we did it every day after work. It does so much to start rebuilding that intimacy, that trust, because you become completely vulnerable to your partner, and the walls come down. You don't know, but you have built up walls over the years of your marriage, and those will come down, and you stand bare and metaphorically naked in front of each other. It's really beautiful, actually, to be that vulnerable with somebody and feel accepted. I'm going to speak to the men, because they would do it more than anything. If you get angry or frustrated that she's talking about it yet again, just walk away, because you're not ready for it. You're not ready to rebuild. And you need to do some self-reflection and self-growth. My husband and I both went to separate counselors. The counselor told me something very important. She said men get their value from 5 areas. Number 1, their job. They want to know that they want to feel respected for the work they do in this world. Their income. They want to, they need to be breadwinners and make good income. They need to be able to problem solve. That's why when women just want to talk and vent, we don't need someone to solve our problem, but the man's going, "Well, you should just do this." Thank you. That's men and women. They just want to be the problem solver. And then they want to be able to, they want to feel competent in the home, you know, repairing, fixing, whatever. And then they want to feel competent in the bedroom. And so if they're robbed of any of that, let's say, you know, they haven't been very successful in their employment, the wife makes more money, the wife can do anything around the house he can do and maybe do it better. Um, you know, she can fix her own problems or whatever, and then she's not satisfied in the bedroom. I mean, you see, you have to let him be the man. And I'm very confident. I'm very independent. I'm very competent and confident. And, you know, I don't need a man. I can do anything around the house. I need his muscle, but I can do it. But he's finally learned it's not a competition between us. He respects me and lets me do the things that I'm good at, and I respect him and let him do the things he's good at. And we've reached a happy medium. My mother's generation was good at letting the man be the man. You know, they would go on a date to go bowling or something, and the girls just knew you let the guy win. You know, we always, even in my generation, waited for the guy to call. You know, we never called the guy. I did a few times, but mostly wait for the guy to call. Just try to find ways to let him be the man. You know, maybe your tires are perfectly fine, but asking, would you mind checking my tires? I think maybe one's low. You know, just something. Just let him be the man. Okay, that's enough of that. Get back to the relationship rescue, and you have to be willing to work through those exercises, even if you think they're stupid and a waste of time. And men, if you're not willing to fully face what you've done, this is not ever going to work. You have to be accountable for it and admit it. And that's why we're an open book. You know, you kind of take the power from it when you release it. So it loses its power. If it's the big secret that nobody wants to talk about, then it's this big thing that we're all trying to avoid, and just take the air right out of that, and let it lose its power over you, over your marriage, and begin to work on it, begin to rebuild. So I'm going to wrap this up because I don't like very long videos. The main thing is, after you have spewed all the hate and the hurt and all that, and you're still going to have crying jags, I'm going to tell you, you're still going to cry. But you finally decided you're going to stop punishing, and men, you're going to be held accountable. Cut off the other relationship, make yourself inaccessible, different phone number, different email. That door is closed. You're all in with the spouse, and you have to be vulnerable. And remember, words and actions cannot be taken back. You can't unring that bell. So when you're going through those worksheets, the workbook, everything should be held in the highest confidence, and not, it's not something to come back and go, well, remember when we were doing that? You know, no. For the moment, you both are bearing your soul, and it's locked away, that just between the two of you. Whew, that's a lot. I just taking my mind back through all that. It was a hard time, but it was a good time. It was a good time of rebuilding, and I really felt more loved than I ever did in the first part of our marriage, because we had never spent that kind of time getting to know each other on this level. And so that's where I will leave that today. I hope y'all have a great weekend, and we'll talk more about this next week. Bye-bye.